Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE's WrestleMania 30. And, I'll just go through match by match and basically tell you how I feel about each one. So we'll start with the pre-show match, which was the 14 elimination tag match for the tag team titles. Usos, the Real Americans, Los Matadores, and the Ryback team. And honestly, I really thought this was a fun way of starting off the show, or at least a fun way of getting people into everything going into the main show itself. The tag match was a just well-timed spots by each team, and just getting everything going and getting a good flow for any of the, just a good flow in the match and getting everything going for the main show that was coming up at that point. So I felt they did a really good job there. I liked the the continued tension and eventually turning of Cesaro on Jack Swagger, and Swagger on Cesaro as well. I just felt they did a really good job there, and this is probably a good way of getting Cesaro to be face, or however they're going to do it. If Cesaro's going to remain heel and Swagger goes face, we'll see where they go with that. It was good to finally see that they made that turn, because that team had been together for a while. It seemed like they had pretty much done everything that they could do with them, and they weren't really going to put the tag titles on them, so it was a good way of getting them split up. And also a little bit for the little later with the actual main show. Which now brings us into, since that was pretty much what happened with the pre-show there, outside of the main vignettes and everything, and a few little interviews that they did during that 2-hour time span. So it goes into the main show, which they started off with Hogan being the host, cutting the promo. Of course, he botches a line or two in there, which eventually leads to both Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock coming out. I really liked this segment. I felt it was very entertaining, very genuine. They put over what WrestleMania had been and then putting over the fact that the new guys are going to be building new WrestleMania moments into the future. I really liked where all of them went with it. It was a great segment, very entertaining segment. In general, just a lot of fun to watch. And that is basically to the first match of the night, at least on the main card, which is probably the best way of starting off the show, considering that Triple H and Daniel Bryan we're gonna have a second match in there. The match itself basically went exactly as I felt it would. You had Triple H working over the shoulder injury and trying to punish Daniel Bryan as much as possible, and then eventually trying to get the win. It was nice seeing Daniel Bryan being able to kick out the pedigree and then eventually pull out the win. I really enjoyed this match. They really well paced it, and you could tell when the finish was coming. And it just felt, and you could also see the story that they were kind of telling for later in the night, how Daniel Bryan was going to be not 100% going into the main event match. It got the crowd really behind it, and the both of them just pulled off a really good match. And then, of course, the ending, with Triple H attacking Daniel Bryan a little bit more and causing even more injury to the shoulder just incentivized the whole aspect that Daniel Bryan was not going into the main event with being 100% at that point in time. So really good match, really good segment at the end. I like what they did there. The 6-man tag, the New Age Outlaws and Kane versus The Shield. Honestly, this is probably the most disappointing, not the most disappointing match. It's probably the second most disappointing match of the night, and that's mainly just because of how quick it was. It was kind of a spot fest, and I liked the double triple powerbomb at the end, which was a really good spot for the Shield to do there with the New Age Outlaws. But the match itself was just kind of short. It was almost treated as if it was nothing more than a squash match in general. So, and of course, they've been teasing somebody turning on the Shield for a while. Obviously, they're not gonna. Obviously, they didn't do it last night, and they're gonna hold that off for another time. Especially when you have one tag team already split up on that night. So we'll see how much longer they're going to be keeping the Shield together. But they definitely have been holding off on that split for quite some time. We'll see how much longer they actually hold off on that. The next match was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I found this match to be great. It was a great, fun match. Battle Royals are always kind of fun for me to watch. Just to see what spots that they were going to try to pull off in there. Really good-looking eliminations inside of there. It wasn't just like everybody just getting thrown out. A couple really cool save spots. The Kofi Kingston save spot was... I'm not sure if it was almost botched or if that was the full intent, but it looked amazing. And it was extremely dangerous, so hopefully they never try that spot again either. But it was an amazing spot. I really liked it. Also, the ending of the match with Cesaro lifting the Big Show for a body slam and dumping him out of the ring. That was just an amazing looking spot. And almost kind of how... almost reminiscent of how WrestleMania 3 was with Hogan slamming Andre, going and to get the victory. You know, you have Cesaro picking up the Giant and putting him out of the ring. It was a really great finish, and it's just a good way of maybe even trying to hopefully put Cesaro over even more and see if he's getting a push here in the near future. He's been crazy over with the fans. And hopefully that will continue to be the trend here in the future. He's going to be having some kind of singles push as a face or even a heel. So we'll see where they go with Cesaro after that. This brings me to the Bray Wyatt and John Cena match. And, you know, this match I feel is a very underrated match. Because I have been seeing how people have been reacting to some of the matches before I've been doing this review, and this match doesn't really, I feel, get the credit it deserves solely based on the storytelling that Bray and Cena did during the entire match. They did such a good job of telling the story during the match of Bray trying to get Cena to bring out this inner beast within inside him and everything, and how Cena was fighting it off throughout the entire match. I mean, the only difference that I would have done with this match was have Bray win when he decided not to, you know, take him out with a steel chair and everything. He takes out Rowan and then have Bray win after that because, you know, his sacrifice kind of cost him that match at that point. I thought the storytelling in this match made that match what it was. It may not have been the biggest spot fest on the show, or, you know, maybe not even the best work rate, but just the certain spots they did with the whole 5-knuckle shuffle deal, and then Bray Wyatt doing his spider type get up was a great spot inside there. Just kind of incentivified that creepy type deal that the Wyatts are, and just you know, how they were portraying the entire match. I felt they did a really good job here. And this one does bring me to, I'll basically start with this one just to get out of the way. The Divas match, well, it was better than I expected it to be, but it still wasn't any good. So we'll just leave it at that. At least they didn't, you know, have AJ lose the belt in this kind of match. Hopefully they try to build a storyline with Tamina or somebody else to actually drop that belt at some point in time. And this one does bring me to the Undertaker-Brock Lesnar match. And I've got two variant opinions on this one, and I'll get my personal opinion out of the way really quick because I'm going to look at this match objectively. And I do have a full opinion on that match itself. Personally, I feel they picked the wrong person to end the streak. They could have... I don't feel a part-timer should have been the person to do it. They should have picked a new guy, a new up-and-comer, in some way, shape, or form that they wanted to give a monster push. Or you give an established full-time guy the finish and the win to kind of just solidify their career, or even, you know, someone that you can't kill their career at that point in time, because if they pick the new guy and they picked wrong, and it might just kill his career at that point. So you could pick the established star and not kill off their career with having this at that point in time. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't think they should have had Brock Lesnar do it. Honestly, the match was a really good match. Yes, it was slow-paced. Undertaker definitely looked a lot slower this year than he did in previous years. But the match itself was a really good match. And that's solely based on how Brock Lesnar is. He's supposed to look like a shoot fighter. He's supposed to go out. It's not supposed to look pretty. It's never supposed to look really crisp and cool for everything in the match. And then, you know, unfortunately, there was probably a few extra spots that they couldn't do because it was reported that Undertaker did legitimately get hurt and sent to the hospital that night. And, you know, maybe there was a few other spots that could have been done in there at that point. But overall, I felt the match, the storytelling in it was really well done. And honestly, ending the streak the way they ended it after the pin was done perfectly. You had Paul Heyman's reaction with him saying, "Oh my God, you did it," and you had and you know how they typically end matches is the music hits and the announcer immediately announces the winner and everything. You had the announcer be silent. They didn't play the music right away. They kind of went with the crowd's reaction, which was like kind of three-way split. You had small amounts of people cheering it, small amounts of people booing it, and everybody else just kind of shocked that they actually ended the streak. So I felt the way they ended the match was done perfectly. I just wish they would have done it with someone other than Brock Lesnar. That's just all my personal opinion on that. Otherwise, really good match, fun and enjoyable to watch. This leads to the main event of the night, which was, of course, earlier with Daniel Bryan winning, getting put into the WWE World Heavyweight title match, Randy Orton and Batista. I really liked this match. I thought it was really well done. Great triple threat match. I like the run-in with Triple H. It kind of incentivized even more with him trying to prevent Daniel Bryan from becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I even like the aspect that they brought Scott Armstrong back in there because not many people remember that, but he was like the guy who did the fast count during the Night of Champions deal when, you know, Bryan actually had the win, but the fast count happened and Triple H has to strip him of the belt because of the fast count. So it was nice to see that they threw him in there to make it seem like he was with Triple H the entire time. And after the first referee had got taken out by Triple H. So I liked that little spot in there. The spot obviously with Batista and Randy Orton doing the powerbomb / like reverse RKO into the table was a sick spot. You know, almost like I don't know if everybody saw it, but you know, with Orton landing on the monitor the way he did, you were like almost worried that they might have ruined the rest of the match because he might have actually fully legitimately hurt himself at that point because landing on a monitor like that, especially with his lower back area, could not have been good. And but overall, just fun. Just a fun triple threat match. You had small snippets in there where you have all three of them just kind of fighting each other, and then you have the moment where Batista and Orton's like, okay, we got to just take him out, take Daniel Bryan out in there. I like that. Of course, obviously, the fighting between Batista and Randy Orton as well, all the way up to the end where you almost seemed like it was going to be one of those screwy type finishes where the face with Daniel Bryan hitting the running knee on Orton and then Batista throwing him out. It looked like he was going to get the pin. I like that spot in there. Just a little tease in there to make it almost seem like you weren't going to get what you wanted, and then leading into Daniel Bryan hitting the knee and having Batista tap to the yes lock. I felt it was a great finish to a honestly stellar match, stellar triple threat match. I thought it was just really well done. And you know, overall, on the show, there wasn't really an overly overly disappointing match. Like, even the matches that were kind of disappointing were treated as squash matches with a 6-man tag. It wasn't overly disappointing. It wasn't a crap fest in any way at that point. Even the Divas match was better than expected. It wasn't good, but it wasn't complete utter crap either. So just overall, I felt they did a really good job with the show. In general, it was very enjoyable to watch, and even better when you're watching it with a few friends at that point in time as well, so you can kind of just make jokes or continually talk about the entire show as it's going on. And I just found it very enjoyable. It was a very good WrestleMania. Not by no means the best WrestleMania out there, but a very good show and a very good WrestleMania. And it was really good to see you had one thing that kind of left people disappointed with the Undertaker streak ending, and then somehow the crowd kind of got back into it when Daniel Bryan won with the whole yes chants and everything at the end. I thought it was just really well done, and in the terms of storyline, WWE kind of took you on a roller coaster that night with the ups, the downs, and then right at the end with the major up with Daniel Bryan winning. So, very good show, and I just found WrestleMania to be a very easy watch this year. It didn't feel like it was 4 hours in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, that's my review for WrestleMania 30, and I thank you guys for watching.